My grandfather was an American soldier in World War II. He was one out of many soldiers that survived in the war. Even though his arm was blown up by a grenade, he made it out alive and lived for many years. At his funeral, when he passed away, I felt like I was lost because my grandfather was an important family member and I couldn't have been the person I am today without him. My life was never the same again. A few days after my grandpa died, I got a call from his friend James, who was a former soldier alongside him. He told me to come over to his house for small talk, so I went over to his house 3 blocks away from mine. We exchanged stories about Grandpa, and James told me that Grandpa was one of many soldiers that survived a grenade that blew his left arm off. At that moment, I felt a slight pain in my left hand. Then James got up and said that my grandpa had something he wanted to give to me. I didn't know what it was that Grandpa secretly had that he wanted to give to me after he passed. James took out a box of things given by my grandpa and took out something and passed it to me. It was Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. Why would grandfather have Garden Warfare and finally give it to me after his death? James said that during grandfather's final years, he played it on an Xbox he bought and now he passed the game to me as remembrance. I chuckled. Gramps has got some mojo to play video games. So much for an old man like him. I thought since Gramps used to be a soldier back then, he wanted to relive his war moments in video games. Like this one. Shooter video games. Like Garden Warfare. I felt a soft warmth in my heart because he left something for me, so we could both get connected in a way forever, even when dead. I went back home, put the disc in my Xbox, and started to play Garden Warfare. I saw that my grandpa had gotten many skins and spawnable plants and zombies. He had defended many gardens and captured many of them in the game. He won many matches, almost as if he became a pro. I saw that my grandfather's Footsoldier was level 10 and he had many skins or stickers, whatever you call them. I was shuffling through when one of the skins got me a bit suspicious and concerned. The skin was called Private Dan R. Johnson. What was creepy was that was my grandfather's name, Dan R. Johnson. I used that skin and entered the Team Vanquish match. What was creepy about the skin was that it looked almost like my grandpa, but younger, in the same soldier uniform he wore on the wall. I started playing when I got even creeped out by the name of the weapon the Footsoldier was using. The gun was a M1917 Enfield rifle, and it looked like the exact one my grandpa used in the war. Everything about the skin and weapon looked so lifelike and so realistic. I killed some plant enemies, but I wasn't that good at games like this, so I got killed a lot of times. What was unnerving was that whenever I got shot, realistic looking blood comes out of my character, and it's not the kind of design that looks like the Chomper's goop. The second reason I kept losing was because when I tried moving my character, he keeps moving in other directions and shoots randomly when I try to shoot at the target, almost as if the Footsoldier was controlling itself. With slight chills up my spine, I slowly let go of my Xbox controller, and in fear, I realized that the Footsoldier was controlling and moving itself, shooting other players. It shot and killed as if it was a real soldier fighting in the war. It killed every plant player simultaneously, one after another, and another, and another. All of a sudden, I looked down at my Xbox controller and realized the buttons and joystick were moving itself, as if a ghost was playing the game instead of me. I immediately powered off my Xbox, but that did nothing to stop this phantom from playing. When he controlled the Footsoldier and killed opponents, blood from the shots splurged out everywhere, and it stained a bit of the TV screen. Horrified, I tried to shut off my TV, and it worked. Not until it switched on again. This time, I was in a dark land. It looked like a battlefield and everything was on fire. I could see bodies of dead soldiers everywhere and a dark cloudy storm. There was a character standing in front of me, and as soon as he looked up at me, I knew who this was. He was in a soldier's uniform, holding an M1917 Enfield rifle. His body was torn up with scars and bruises, and so was his uniform, revealing several parts of his bones and guts. I immediately knew who it was, because I saw its left arm. It looked like it was blown up by a grenade, only up to the elbow. "Grandfather?" I said into my headphone mic. He responded in a dead voice. "Tyler, don't leave me here." His entire face then poured out with blood from his eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. Then it covered up his entire face as he screamed like a demon as I saw a black figure grab him from behind. Then the power went out. I took the disc out of my Xbox only to see that the disc snapped in two and looked like it was burnt inside the Xbox. I thought maybe grandfather's soul was trapped inside the game and wanted me to play so that he can be freed. I didn't know, and my head was spinning at that moment. Not long after that, the power came on and the TV switched on by showing me a system error sign. But it only said, "Thank you for setting my soul free." A few days later, I went back to the cemetery where my grandfather was laid to rest. I bought the snapped Garden Warfare disc and put it on his grave. I said my prayers and words to Grandpa. I then left the cemetery, but what was still at the top of my head was the only one question. What was that thing that grabbed my grandpa behind in the game? Perhaps unknown questions have answers yet to come. Till next time, folks.